So I remember there was this time when I was in high school, and that weekend I had gone to a Campus Crusade for Christ meeting, and it just didn't sit right with me. I'm not going to go into all the details, but let's just say it was a little too touchy-feely for me. And when I got back to school, I noticed that a lot of the folk that I thought were friends started treating me differently. Some of them literally started calling me the beast, the Antichrist, that I had fallen and I needed to repent and come back to their fold, because I was not willing to do things that just didn't feel right. And my brain was all kinds of lost, because this was a major organization. They had the support of all of the people that I was taught knew the right things, and so they obviously had to know and do the right things, right? So I was the one who was wrong, and their abuse just continued to build and build to the point where some of them literally spit at me when I walked down the halls. And increasingly I just felt more untethered from the faith that had meant so much to me, and I didn't understand what I should do. Then in English class, one of my teachers recited a poem for us to discuss. And it's one that I see making the rounds a lot right now. Turning and turning in a widening gyre, the falconer cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out, when a vast image out of the Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with a lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about real shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, and now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. The rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. And those words hit me so hard. The best have lost all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. I'm feeling that way now, and I think a lot of us are, about what's going on in the country and in the world. But I didn't lose my way. I found a better one. And so today, let's talk about beauty. What actually holds everything together at the center as we walk together down creation's paths. Hello, my name is Charlie, and I'm a Christopagan druid and priest of Brachot.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian, I'm a Christopagan druid and sous chef to the Dagda.
And today we're going to be talking about beauty and how it is actually the center that holds all things together. That sounds so light and airy until you really dig into what beauty is and how beauty actually works in our lives. This isn't about just putting makeup on a bad situation. It's not about painting your face so you look like you're smiling. That's not beauty. Beauty is powerful, and it is all around us. But before we get into all that, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever the terminology happens to be on whatever app you're listening to us on. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out. Also, if you would like to know more about creation spirituality, my book. See, I was hoping these would be here by now, but it is. This is my book, Creation's Past, a primer to creation spirituality, with forward by Matthew Fox. And I'm so excited about this book. And if you ever wanted to know what creation spirituality is, how it works, how it gets down into your system and becomes a living, embodied philosophy, faith, practice, I invite you to pick this up and check it out for yourself. All right. Let's just get into it now, shall we? So, you might have been feeling this way too. The reason I opened with the story that I did is that was the first time I felt the impact of the Christian nationalism that is currently in charge of the country. It is the inciting incident of my life that got me walking down the path that would eventually get me out of it. But at the moment, it felt like exile. It felt so isolating. And I think a lot of us are feeling that way. Like there's this gray haze that has just descended over everything, and colors don't look quite so bright, and food doesn't taste quite as sweet. The richness seems to be gone from life. And then we have all of the corporate interests really pushing on us so that we no longer enjoy anything. Just consume, consume, consume. We dropped an entire season, you better just binge watch it now so that you're not outside the discussion that's going to be happening and all the spoilers that are out there. And if you take your time to watch it, all the conversation will be gone and you'll have missed it. So don't enjoy it. Just hurry up, get through it. All of these are robbing us of our ability to see the beauty that is all around us. All of these things are conspiring to just dim the color switch just a little bit at a time, so that it's not noticeable. And soon everything has that kind of blue filter that way too many movies have used in the last 20 years.
I also experience this struggle and feel it, and I see it when I'm out interacting with the public. I see it in them. I hear it in their tone and descriptions, and when they talk to me about their day and their lives and what's going on in it, and it really is a struggle, and it does kind of cast a gray haze over everything. And I find that I often need to remind myself to take moments to focus on something beautiful that's going on in my life or in the world in general. And just those little moments of appreciation help to bring some color back in. Like last week, we get to watch and hear a lot of people kind of come back to life a little bit because it was more of a national moment with the landing of Artemis, the astronauts coming back to Earth and successfully landing, successfully doing the mission to the moon and back. It's those little things that kind of help bring that color and that vibrancy back in.
And I found one of the most interesting discussions I saw about all that is people were comparing the blue marble picture that Artemis took to the ones from the Apollo missions. And the Apollo images are so bright and vibrant and blue, and the ones from Artemis weren't. And people were asking questions like, oh, have we damaged the Earth so much that it's not vibrant and shiny? Like, they were casting their own fears onto this image. And it was really interesting to see people talk about, oh, this is the difference in photo sensors, in the technology that was used to take the picture, whereas the film that was used in the 1970s captured very vibrant, very bright color, no matter what the color actually looked like, and that what we're getting from Artemis is probably closer to true tone. It's probably more accurate to what the color spectrum actually looks like, and it just looks duller by comparison because we got used to that vibrantly blue from the Apollo images. But it was really interesting to watch people as they kind of struggled with that image because they wanted it to be that vibrant, beautiful blue that we saw in the 70s. And what people were really wanting was that full Via Positiva awe experience, and they got it. But then this modern desire of comparing and contrasting. We got to compare and contrast everything. We can't let anything stand on its own. Is this better? Is this worse? We have to judge everything, which really is the modern syndrome right there. And they were grasping for that. And then I saw the conversation shift back, and everyone started talking about the solar eclipse when the moon moved between the sun and the Orion pod as it was going around. People started talking about the Earth set and the Earth rise on either side of the moon. These brilliant, beautiful color pictures of the dark side of the moon and the vibrancy of the color there. And the conversation just turned back around, because that is the power of beauty. Beauty awakens us to awe. Beauty awakens us to wonder. If you've listened to me for any time, if you've read any of my essays or books, you know that beauty, wonder, and awe are at the heart, the foundation of everything. They are the first path, the positive way, the Via Positiva. You find that awe, you find that wonder, and you just allow it to fill you. You savor it. You bring it all in. As we're counting through the Omer with the living gospel over on Creation's Path, this is the week of Tiphareth. Now, you don't have to know all the Hebrew. You don't have to know anything about the Kabbalistic tree of life. It's actually a lot simpler than you probably think it is. But Tiphareth means beauty. This is the place of beauty. It's a balancing point. It's the place that takes all of the power of loving kindness and all of the power of justice and strength and balances them one with another. It just brings them into balance, and that balance is beautiful. When you see the balance between strength and loving kindness being brought together, that is beauty. It also, in the Lurianic tree, draws down wisdom and understanding and balances them together as well. So the wisdom and understanding flows down, the loving kindness and strength flows down, and there's this unobstructed path all the way up to the crown, to Keter, to the light of God that shines down and fuels the entire thing. All of the energies of God are fueled by the crown, by Keter, by this highest point, and that light goes down here into Tiphareth, into beauty. And that is an amazingly wonderful way of understanding the world. From beauty, if you look up, there is nothing between you and the light of God, the glory of God. It's all right there. Not quite synonymous, but interconnected and working together in this powerful, beautiful way.
That's why I like to thinking about the awe and wonder of Tiphareth. You know, I really think about how it's not like when life gets gray and dim and stuff. It's not that it's an absence. That space is held by the cosmic Christ. It's always there. It might be obstructed and dimmed. This is why I love all the symbolism of shadows and hiding the light, or don't hide your light, and all that stuff that you find in all the parables and stuff, because that really is that thing. And just remembering that and looking back up, pulling up that image of cosmic Christ, that is that wisdom, understanding, the compassion, the strength, all flowing into this one point and out into everything else.
And where else would you find the cosmic Christ but in the place of beauty? Now remember, when we talk about the cosmic Christ, we're not trying to be like, whoa, the cosmic Christ. We're talking about the Christ that is found in everything, from the atoms all the way up. The Christ that Paul talks about that sustains and maintains and holds the cosmos together. That's the cosmic Christ, the one who is everywhere, in all things. And where else are you going to see that face more clearly than in beauty? And so here, as we're dealing with this gray haze, the Via Positiva says, no, just look for beauty. Even in the shadows, you can find beauty. Look at the patterns that they make. Look at the ways that they play with the ripples on the top of the water. Even in those shadowy, dark places, there's places to see beauty. Our roses are budding right now and about to bloom. The irises are in full bloom, and they're just gorgeous, even though outside is cloudy and dark and threatening to rain. That is the power of beauty, to enrapture you, to allure you, to remind you of the awe and wonder in everything. See, it's not about painting yourself up, dressing up nice. If that helps you, do it, by all means. But it's not about putting a fresh coat of paint on something. It's about looking and really beholding the beauty that's there and letting it elevate you and set you on the path out of that gray darkness.
Even the beauty of that little compliment of like, oh, you look great today, or you're looking sharp today, even something simple like that. Like it doesn't have to be complex.
That's the power of hospitality. Hospitality is sharing that beauty, awe, and wonder with others. And really just living in that presence wherever you go. It really does help to transform the world, and is firmly the path that we walk first. We always start here. We start in wonder. And then when we're ready, we take the next step and do a little bit of a darker path. So in the Via Negativa, the second path, this is where we learn to release and let go and let be, and we make space for what is to come. So how do we do that? When we enter the Via Negativa, this is often the place where we confront our pain, and our pain is very evident in times like this. It's our anxiety, our worry, our fear, our doubt. And when we realize that these are the things that those who are creating those sensations in us want us to have, the urgency to get rid of them becomes even more intense. And urgency is in and of itself a danger on the path. So what are we trying to do here? Well, when we're seeing nothing but this kind of gray fog that's covering everything, when the world has kind of lost its savor and everything seems dark and we're tempted towards doom, all we're looking at is the shells. Once upon a time, the Ari's words go, when the Holy One made the universe, he made it perfect. And he shined his light down upon it, and all of the vessels shattered, because in their perfection they could not flex. They did not have the give and take needed to hold the power that was flowing through them. And so they shattered and they fell down into the world. And these shells are still here. They're all around us. We accidentally make them ourselves all the time. When we do things heedlessly, without thought, without conscious intentional action, we leave more shells. Here, there, and yonder. They're everywhere. And we can get lost looking at the shells. And we forget the best part of the story. Inside those shells, inside those kelipot, the nitzotzot, the sparks of the divine are still in there. The sparks of that light are still there, waiting to be liberated, waiting to be freed. This is what it means to restore the world. This is what Tikkun Olam is all about. You hear me talk about this all the time. This is so core to everything that we do. Tikkun Olam, at its simplest, is living in this conscious awareness so that we lift up and elevate those sparks out of the shells so that they can be restored to their proper place. When you savor your food, you're freeing and elevating those sparks. When you have a great conversation or have jokes with your friends, you're elevating those sparks. When you help someone out, you're elevating those sparks. All of those times of conscious, intentional awareness, you're elevating those sparks and you're restoring the cosmos. And every time you kind of just go about your business and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing, you're just tossing them back out so that someday someone might pick them up and help to elevate. That may sound like it's a lot of pressure on you, but it really isn't. Try to get food that you like, or at least season it in a way that you like. Savor it. Enjoy it. Eat it with a mindful awareness of what you're doing, of how it's restoring and fueling your body. Enjoy the beverages that you drink. Enjoy the world that you live in, the life that you live in. Stop and just take in the magnitude of just the sheer beauty of the cherry blossoms. I'm extremely allergic to tree pollen. If you can't tell, I'm sure you can hear it. but the flowers on the trees are still beautiful. I just wish that they would leave my sinuses alone, or that my body would realize that it shouldn't overreact to them. One or the other, I'm good. But in taking that moment to realize that beauty, that is a moment of elevating those sparks so that they can shine in the heavens like they are intended.
And it really is where we remember back to last week when we were learning about strength and facing the fears and remembering that you're not sitting there trying to smash the bowl because you're stronger than it when it's charging at you. You can leap over it. You can move off to the side. Olé. It will run past. The crowd will cheer from the spectacle. Like, this is part of this path in the Via Negativa. That grayness in this time comes for all of us. We all struggle against it. And it's remembering that strength and going, I'm going to go into this dark place. I'm going to face these kelipot, these shells, knowing that the sparks are there, and finding them and elevating them and just make that your focus.
But see, that's where the balance really comes in, because it's the strength coming down and the loving kindness. The strength allows you to dare the dark. The loving kindness lets you sit with the shells until the sparks rise.
And it's not like glossing over anything either. It's allowing it to be what it is, because there's so much beauty around. Had so much craziness this last week from the administration, but there was this amazing story about a cat in a grocery store getting to return to the grocery store because the community rose up and fought against one person's complaint, and the cat's back and the whole community can enjoy them, and even people traveling to this community go to see this cat. And just this beautiful story, and even their little ones all around us every day. Somebody does an act of kindness that you get to witness, and there you go. That's something beautiful.
And that really is the act of letting go, of releasing here, is learning to let go of the shell while elevating the spark. Having that moment where you can have just this mindful savor and just be with it and let it rise. I see so many people, when somebody changes their mind or realizes they might have been wrong, quickly jumping on them, because again, judgment is the national pastime of the world right now. And okay, they might not be right on everything. They might not have come around to agree with you 100% on all things. Celebrate the moment that they dropped at least some of the shells and let the light shine out. Every victory, no matter how small, is a victory in the right direction. We just continue pushing for more victories. And yelling at somebody because they were trapped in a shell doesn't help anyone. A bird does not hatch quicker because you yell at the egg. That's not how it works. So as we turn to the third path, the Via Creativa, the creative way, how do we bring beauty into the world? Well, if you're a singer, a musician, a poet, a painter, find ways. I think you can see ways that you can bring that out. If you're a chef or a cook, make the most delicious meals that you can. For everyone, though, regardless of your gifts or talents, all of us can bring this beauty into the world. So I know I've used a lot of Hebrew in this episode, but I love the language, so bear with me. This is where the practice of Gemilut Chesed really comes in. I love that phrase. It means to bestow loving kindness. Not just give, not just put out, not just be, but bestow, to give it to someone, to practice this wonderful art of giving loving kindness. Now, this is not giving to charity. It's very important here. There's a difference between Gemilut Chesed, which is bestowing loving kindness, and Zedekah, which is giving to charity. One is required. The other is out of the kindness and goodness of your own heart. Anywho, I'm excited. I also have allergies, so when you are giving loving kindness, this could be as simple as, again, like we talked about earlier, saying a nice word to someone else. Complimenting somebody if they're wearing something nice. They got a new haircut and it looks good on them. Helping somebody who needs just a little bit of help. Helping somebody who needs a lot of help. Just being there and sitting with somebody who just needs someone to listen to them or a shoulder to cry on. Buying a gift for somebody just because you can and you want to. There are tons of ways to practice this bestowing of loving kindness. And whatever works best for you. My aunt, I like to tell stories about her, was brilliant in that she would send cards out just randomly throughout the year, you'd get a card. It's just I was thinking about you, praying about you, hoping everything's fine, and a little prayer. She'd write a little prayer in it. And it seemed like whenever you were having a bad day, you'd go check the mail, and there'd be a card from Aunt Joyce. And it would just brighten your day, because you knew that inside this little envelope was just a little packet of love that was going to make you feel better.
For myself, one of those moments that I find are opportunities I try to find is when I'm out interacting with the public. You can see these moments clearly, though. Like, you ask them how they're doing, and then you can see them kind of slump and fall into that dark place, the gray haze. You can see it's taking them over. And so I will enter that place with them and sit with them and point out a spark, and then sit with them for a moment while that spark elevates. And you can almost watch them kind of lift themselves up and be elevated themselves, because they can then see the beauty in that moment. And it could be as simply as just juxtapositioning whatever they're stressing about. Even the simple phrase, it could be worse. Be thankful that it's not that bad, that you've got this good thing or that good thing going for you. And, and a lot of times it's that simple of an exchange. It happens really quickly, but it really does help to birth those creative moments, that birthing creative process. Sometimes somebody needs a midwife, and that could be the charitable giving that can be done.
The giving of loving kindness.
Yeah.
Another way that you can do this is through the practice of Brachot. Brachot means blessings. The practice is very simple. Say 100 blessings a day. I've talked about this before. You don't have to count. That's not what this is about. It's about saying a blessing every time something happens, or that you notice something or you do something. These can be very simple blessings. They can be as elaborate as your heart desires. To say them even when something bad happens. When I was taught this practice, the example that was given is, say somebody comes to you and gives you bad news. A beloved friend has died. You can give a blessing here. Blessed are you, O Lord, who has given me the gift of hearing. Because even in that moment of darkness, you could at least receive the news and know that it happened. It's not a bright light, but it's a light. It's a little spark to help keep the flame alive. And this little practice, and you don't have to start blessed are you, O Lord. You can start with however you want. Say your blessings your way. Finding little times and places where you can say these little blessings. A blessing over your food, a blessing over your water, a blessing over your leaving the house and going outside. Wherever you can find a little place that you can speak a blessing. You don't have to proclaim it out loud. You don't have to be very big about it. You can whisper it to yourself. You can say it in your mind. But you're putting that beauty in front of your eyes. You're stating that beauty into the world. And we believe that the Devar Elohim, the voice of God, has power. It's actually one of the themes of the Via Positiva, if you've ever read Matthew Fox's original blessing, that power is there in the spoken living word. And so taking that moment, and it doesn't have to be long, like, don't have to be elaborate litanies, just a little moment, and just say a blessing over whatever it is. It really does help to reorient and redirect your eyes to the beauty of whatever is happening, even when that is hard. And honestly, it's easy to forget when things are good, but it's even more powerful when good news comes or something good happens. It helps to wake you up and keep you in that good place. So when we turn to the Via Transformativa, the fourth path, the way of transformation, how do we bring that beauty out into the world? How do we really bring it out there to interfere with injustice and to bring joy wherever we go? My favorite way people have been doing that is wearing the zebra and the frog costumes to the protests. That puts a smile on my face, and it shows the ridiculousness of the moment that we're in. It's a beautiful, simple way of protesting. When you see angry ICE officers yelling at somebody in a fluffy unicorn costume, they look silly, and it's a beautiful moment. It really is. It's a moment of sheer beauty. I have friends that will often dress in the colors of their pride flag. Granted, they live in places where it's safe to do that, and you need to bear your safety in mind when you're doing things. But that's a beautiful way of just showing your identity. And those who know. And they recognize the beauty of that moment. And those who don't know. Because I'm not talking about like wearing the rainbow. I'm talking about the more specialized ones. Unfortunately for those of us who aren't, the bisexual and the pan flags have the most beautiful color arrangement. You can find that set of colors and just find ways to bring it into your life, just as a subtle form of protest. You don't have to dress in stripes. Just wear the colors. Wear them on you. Be proud. Find ways to bring just that beauty that interrupts the insanity of what's going on. Tell the stories of local heroes. Tell the stories of those who have stood up to oppression before. Tell them with might. Sing their songs. A lot of them have songs. Find those songs, sing them, share them. And go back into the great tradition of protest music that goes all the way back. I mean, all the way back. You can find wonderful songs that you can bring up and sing together. And that solidarity is beautiful. Find ways to just bring that enchantment into every moment, because those that we are pushing against want everything to feel gray and somber and terrifying. And when you are enjoying what you're doing, when you are bringing this defiant joy right in front of them, one, you're very clearly saying, you're not affecting me the way you think you should be. And that is a powerful sign of protest. But also refilling your spirits and those around you. Because I know people want protesting to be serious. And yes, there's a time for serious, solemn moments. But there's also time to dance. And if we forget how to dance, if we become a movement that cannot dance, we've lost the line. I mean, we've completely lost hold of whatever we're working to get to. Because there's nothing more freeing than dancing and singing when you're not even thinking about whether or not you're on key or on tempo. Just the sound of a crowd singing is a beautiful thing. Just find those ways that you can do that. The people that are putting stickers on the gas pumps, the people that are putting up installations here, there, and yonder that are making the point known. Make beauty, make joy wherever you can, because those who want to control us want us to be afraid and quiet and serious. And I don't want to give that to them. So now that we've walked the 4 paths, we need to ask ourselves, how are we going to practice that this week? And I just want to offer you a very simple thing that you can start doing right now wherever you are. Just start saying a brachot. That's a blessing. Just say a blessing. Just a simple one. Blessed is life for the grace of ... Whatever's going on, whatever you're finding joy in, wherever you're finding beauty right now. Savor, delight, all of the words that we have for beauty. Wherever you're experiencing that right now. And throughout the week. You don't have to use my formulation. That's not required. I just wanted to give a very simple thing that you could remember. Just blessed is life for the grace of, and then just say what's happening. And maybe even what it means to you. Bring yourself into that moment mindfully and fully so that you can elevate that spark and let that light out and really experience it for yourself. So blessed is life for the grace of recording this podcast, because I love coming to you all and I really enjoy doing this. It brings a smile to my face and some light in a week where I often feel like I'm just going through the motions way too often. So y'all are a blessing to me. So blessed be life for the grace of this podcast. And those of you who are listening, you really do mean the world.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, or creationspast.com, you can leave a comment right there. If you're listening to us anywhere else, even if they say you can leave a comment, they don't notify us, so we won't know. But you can leave a comment there anyway, because engagement is magic. And then head over to creationspast.com, click on chat, and you can leave a message there, and we will see it, and we will be able to get back to you. While you're there, if you happen to have a few dollars, you can pass our way. We offer monthly and annual memberships. You can also support us on Patreon and Ko-fi. I am CE Dorset on both, and you can support us using the Cash App hashtag CreationsPaths. Thank you to everybody who does that. We are ever so grateful. Thank you so much. You all really do help us keep the lights on, keep a roof over our head, and food on our table. If we've ever said anything that's helped you out, please share it with others. That helps us out more than you know.
So as we're heading out, I always love to end one of these with a prayer. And today we're going to actually do the practice that we're doing for the week. And I'm going to offer you a blessing. Blessed are you, child of the light, made of stardust. The fullness is with you. May your week be filled with beauty, and may you shine ever brighter. Amen.
Amen.